Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to be taking a look at 7 Wonders. In 7 Wonders, you're going to lead one of the 7 great cities of the ancient world. Can you tell I'm reading that? And you're going to use the resources of your land. Basically, you're building one of the 7 wonders. And so over a series of rounds, you're going to be taking cards to build that wonder, trading with people around you, fighting with people around you. It plays really fast, 30 minutes, up to 7 people, and it's put out by Repos Productions. So let's take a look and see what you get in the box.
All right. All right, so components to the game. Again, nice components. Nice thick card stock. These right here are kind of your little, I don't want to say character cards, but your little Wonders cards. The cards themselves are nice quality stock. They're nice and thick. These are used heavily in the game. The coins themselves are nice. Just overall, the artwork is great. All in all, it's very, very good.
Don't forget about this. This is paper.
That's your paper. Very nice paper. Well, colorful, see, but not too colorful.
We used a recycled stock here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. So I mean, what would you say on the components? You think they did a good job? Value for what you get in the box?
Oh, definitely. The game's how much is the game?
I don't remember. It's not terrible.
Right?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Great value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main part of the components is the deck, because that's what you're gonna be playing with.
Well, I think the artwork.
All these.
Artwork. It's
well, I mean, the main component of the game, though.
Right.
The other stuff is, you could have played it into like blank space, but that's kind of nice to have.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of stuff.
It brings you into the theme.
It brings you into the theme.
Thematic
which is so
element.
important. The theme.
Okay. So in 7 Wonders, you're going to be building your civilization, your wonder. You're trying to build that. It plays out over 3 rounds, and this is a card drafting game. A lot of games since 7 Wonders has used the card drafting mechanic. I don't know if they were the first one. They probably weren't, but this is the game that most people reference when they talk about card drafting. So card drafting is simply you're dealt a certain amount of cards. You look in your hand, pick the best possible card that you can, put it down in front of you, and then you pass the cards to the next player, and then you reveal what you played in front of you. So that's the mechanic. And so the cards that you pass along may come back to you or it may not come back to you. So somebody along the way. So you're playing two-sided. You're thinking, what do I want to build? Or also, what do I want him to not build? And so you can always burn cards and get rid of stuff, but it's really about you building up your wonder. So you're going to you've got your tableau here in front of you, and then as you get a card, you're going to put it out and start building your wonder up. And so you're basically at the beginning of the game, you're going to be trying to get resources that you need. But there's all kinds of ways to play this game. You could go scientific, you could go military strength, you could go resources, victory points, straight victory points. There's all kinds of things, but you're basically going to be building up your tableau here with all of these resources, and then you're also able to trade with your neighbors on the left and right of you, but that's the only interaction that there is in the game. Although there's a guy across the table playing, you're not really interacting with him other than trying to beat him at the end of the game with victory points, but the only interaction is who's next to you, which could be a positive or negative. I know some people say where you sit at the table when you play 7 Wonders is huge because who gets what next to you is a big deal. But that's the only interaction between people. So after you do the whole picking a card, passing around when all the cards are gone, then you end the round, and then you go into this military phase where you see who has the most military strength of you on the left and right. And so you get some points or some negative based off of that. Then you go into the 2nd round, then you go into the 3rd round. Basically, by the time you get to the 3rd round, you're going to be trying to build guilds is a feature that they added in the 3rd round, which you get points exponentially, maybe based off of who's next to you, or if you have certain cards in your hand, things like that, you could get extra victory points. At the end, then you go through and you're just adding up victory points. They actually give you this a little notepad here, and they tell you can just go down the list and score everything. So it tells you exactly everything. You get points for your wonders, how much money you have, your military strength, if you did any scientific or buildings, things like that. And so then at the end you add it up. Whoever has the most points wins. So, Tim, I mean, what do you think about instructions, or how complicated was it to get into this game?
So if you can get at least one person at the table that actually knows the game, then you're set. Because for this, a lot of games, like, you'll want to explain the rules to everybody, and then, like, it's like each step, and then have them play the game. In this one, it was actually easier to have them play the game because there were kind of some new concepts to the game, especially with the card drafting mechanic. Not a lot of people are used to that, but the way that turns are all simultaneous. So the instruction booklet was really key for the one person that's going to read it. But it's really laid out well. It gives you the little pictures to show you everything they're explaining. I love that picture examples, and then they circle stuff. So that way, you know, there's not really a question when you go to play the game what you're supposed to be doing. The only key is to remember all the little icons, right? But they have a reference sheet here on the back, and they also have another one that you pass around. And people are going to spend more time looking at this than they're going to be looking at the cards, because you're going to be trying to track, you know, what it is you want to do and what it is you want to do in the future. And this is the key, because all there is in the cards is icons, and this actually tells you what the icons do or don't do.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as that goes, that kind of does make the game a little bit more complex. But as soon as you play one game, you know the game.
And I think that's where the replayability comes in, honestly, because each time you play, you're going to be dealt different cards, and so you're looking. Then all of a sudden, you say, "Well, now I've been dealt a lot of science cards, and maybe I'll try this whole science route." And so you're going through and you're trying to build it. You will reference this just a ton to try to figure out these, especially when you get into the third age, and then you're looking at all these things that have to do with people on your left or your right, things like that. And so you'll reference this a lot. You will have some questions, but like Tim said, play it a few times and you'll understand it, and you'll find the depth in the game the more you play it.
Yeah.
Plays quick enough, 30 minutes, that it's not like if you played one round and you lost or you didn't do well, just play again and you'll learn more. So
I think it's a game that comes to the table a lot. If you have a gaming group like we do, you get together in the morning or whatever, and the first game is some game we probably never played before, and we spend an hour learning it, and then we're playing it for 2 to 3 hours. And we play another game, and then before you know it, it's almost the end of our time, and we're thinking, well, we only have about an hour left. What else are we going to play? We usually throw this in here and start playing this, and it's always fun.
yeah, and I mean, what games do you know that play up to 7 people that aren't like a party game, you know,
Right.
or something like that? 7 people plays in 30 minutes, and it actually has some depth to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really lends itself to more players too. So the 7 players, as many players as you can get, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, and it's not the number of players doesn't slow the play because you're simply picking a card and passing. So you're not waiting on 6 other people to go before it's your turn. You flip a card, the round's over, keep going.
Yeah, that simultaneous play really makes this game, because you actually get to sit there and think, you know, and you don't have to feel like you're being pressured by other people because they're doing the same thing at the same time. So you're sitting there like looking at your neighbor like stuff. You know, the first time I played, I was just playing with myself. I was just, you know, I was like, it was a solitary game.
Yeah.
But then as you start playing more and more games, you'll be paying attention to what he's doing, and you'll see what you can steal from this guy and stuff like that. But,
At the end of our reviews, we like to do a simple 1-die rating. Do we think you should buy it, play it, or hate it? Green means you'll buy this game, add it to your collection. White means you wouldn't buy it, but you definitely play it. And then red means you wouldn't buy it and you wouldn't play it because you hate it. So let's figure out what we want to do. If it's green, white, or red, and go. Oh, we got 2 whites and a green. So tell us why you gave it a green.
Well, the reason I give it a green is every group needs the game. Okay, I'm not saying that every person has to have the game, but every group needs the game. I do believe it's a very, very good game. I will probably purchase this game because it's a game I probably can teach my wife and she would enjoy. It's not too difficult. Like you're saying, if you get them into the game, have them just play it, and that's how they learn. They'll pick it up after the first game. And so that's the reason. I mean, it's a game that's kind of what I would consider a family game. It's not too difficult, some strategy involved, and there's a lot of luck involved, but it's a nice game.
I gave it a white, and I'm kind of leaning towards green, but for some reason, and maybe it's just all the icons and the stuff that you can do. And I'm not saying it's really difficult, but I just remember when I bought this game, I took it, I opened the box, looked at the instructions, and put it back on the shelf. And then I didn't play it until Tim, or I think we played it, yeah, and I think Tim talked us through it all. But for me, I don't know. It's not that it's a bad game, and I would say if you went and bought this game, like Rod said, you'd probably love it and it would fit for you. But for some reason, this is just a white for me. So if he wants to play it, I'm going to play it with you. But I don't know. Maybe I'll trade it to you.
But the more people, the better.
The more people, the better. So what about you?
Well, I gave it a white because to me, it's not my style of game. I'm not really into it, but I would still play it because, like I said before, it's kind of like you're just kind of each person's playing their own little game, and then at the end you just score it up and see who played their own little game the best.
Right. Yeah.
So it's nice, especially when you've got like 7 or so people and you want to play a game, all at one table. And this is the game that would work.
Yep. So that's our review of 7 Wonders. Thanks for watching the Board Game Closet. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagrams, and as always,
support your local hobby shop.